Hello everyone, welcome to Saturday Night Music Club number 17. Just going to go do a quick round of introductions here. Once again, I am Bret.
I'm Brent from the block.
Bart from the block.
Jonathan, aka Big Money.
Dream Pop from the block. These cats.
Where's the camera again?
Not funny.
I'm Jay Dids, because Jay Do.
Robert from the bar.
Alright guys, so as usual we had a 2-record theme. We're going to start off with the single song theme. I came up with the country theme. I chose a country of origin for music for each person based on the first letter of their first name. So we're going to start things off with Jonathan. I gave him the country of Jordan. He was unsuccessful in choosing an album from that country, so he went with the first initial of his last name, which was Senegal. Take it over, Jay Diddy.
Yeah. So
That was Jaymz.
I'm a big fan of music from Senegal. There's actually a label called Earthbeat, and they specialize in music from Senegal. So I brought Dexter Johnson, who's a fabulous saxophonist, and I brought a little snippet from this album right here. Dexter Johnson. That song's called Angelitos, Negros.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dexter Johnson, it reminded me of Earl Bostic doing Harlem Nocturne. I didn't expect the Spanish vocals. It was a beautiful recording. I actually gave this a 3. Good work.
Thanks.
Good work. I thought it was really good, mellow lounge vibe to it. I also gave it a 3.
So this was my first experience with Dexter Johnson. I thought it was very nice. He's good. Is he alone? He's good.
Yeah.
And he's a nice guy.
Dream Pop.
I liked it. It was very smooth. It was kind of.
It was soothe.
Well, it was smooth. It was something that
Smooth.
it would be relaxing. But yeah, I gave it a 3. I really liked it.
JT.
Smooth.
I give it a 3 as well.
Jay Smooth.
The intro part kind of reminded me of Morphine's The Night album. And it also it made me want to take a ride on a moped.
You guys like the hat on Jaymz? Yes or no? Leave me a comment. Robert, what'd you think?
Fun?
I give it a 3. The recording was really nice. It had kind of a lot of open space in it. You really felt like you were there in the club, and I love the upright bass. Good stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what type of song?
Jonathan, pardon me for a second. I left my scorecard over here, but I would just like to announce Jonathan's score for the evening. As you guys have heard, Jonathan scored a perfect 3.
Wow.
Which for 6 people grading. Welcome to the Perfect 3 Club.
Wow. Who else is in that club?
Brett. I think he did 2 3s in the last episode. All right, we're going to take it over to Jesse. Jesse's country was Japan.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got. Let's see what you brought.
For Japan, I brought a Pizzicato 5 EP.
Obviously.
The quickest
Obviously.
magic carpet ride.
When Jesse pulled that out, he said, obviously I brought Pizzicato 5, so we knew. It made me think of the Peach Pit After Dark.
Oh.
What is that?
Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh.
It was like 90s when they were having bands featured. That's what that band reminded me of.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm talking about? Peach Pit After Dark, when Nat from the Peach Pit opened a venue and Dylan owned it.
I mean, I never watched it.
How do you talk? No,
Yeah.
so no.
Yeah, that was that guy.
Nice.
What I really didn't like was the male backing vocals on that one, but I gave it a 2. Brent.
You know, it reminded me of 90s trip hop, dream pop sounding. You're going to the mall.
Peach Pit After Dark.
You go to the mall with your woman. You walk into Rave Up. This is definitely playing. Or if you're watching TV, they have a commercial with this playing.
Interested what your score was?
2.
Bart.
Okay, so I felt that I started liking it, but then once it got further and further, I really disliked it.
It was just one song.
So at first it started off like kind of Heroes by David Bowie. I can hear the Eno influence. And then it got like 70s Charlie's Angels. So I just, Konnichiwa, I give it a 1.
Okay. Jonathan, what did you think of Pizzicato 5?
It wasn't really my cup of tea. Like the production reminded me of like Spice Girls.
Ooh,
You know,
slow blow.
but I
Peach Fit After Dark.
I
Dark.
still gave it a 2 because it had some like Eastern like flourishes
What
in
kind
there.
of wine was it like this time?
It was like one of those cheap like box wines.
This one, guys.
All right, what was your score?
2.
2. Okay, James Todd.
I gave it a 2, but it reminded me kind of a porn setting in Bollywood Factory, as brought to you by Japan, with a little bit of Nelly Furtado.
It reminded you of that.
Yeah.
So
That's
I've
what it felt
actually
like.
seen that.
Well, no, that's what it felt
He's
like.
making it.
Oh, okay. So it's not a real thing.
Okay. What was your score?
Confused.
2?
2, yeah.
Robert, what'd you think Pizzicato 5?
I gave it a 3.
Really?
It's not a perfect 3.
Convince
It's kinda-
us.
Okay,
Convince us.
so I loved every element of it except for one. Somewhere in the chorus they did like a cha-cha-cha thing.
Yeah.
That just about kicked it down, but
2-0.
the sort of Middle Eastern instruments and the kind of flow of the whole thing, all the different things that were seamlessly incorporated into it, kept it afloat with a 3, just barely.
All right. Jesse, you ended up with a 2. 2.0. That takes us to Robert. Your country was Russia. The
Yes.
R for Robert.
So I first was worried that I wouldn't have a record from Russia, and then this just miraculously appeared, still sealed, on my shelf.
We all breathed in the air from 1912.
Folk songs of old Russia, featuring the Sveshnikov choir and the Vulga choir.
Yeah.
And just randomly we picked the song "The Drake Went Courting," and I just want to say very quickly that this is where does it talk about it? It's a humorous and vigorous song suggesting rustic horseplay.
It was a cappella. So it was like the Russian duo Tattoo, but without the electronics. And then there was a choir in there, and without the pop melodies, and without being those two girls. So I gave it a 2 for sympathy. I gave you 1 sympathy point, Rob, because I can't believe you met the theme's requirement. Because when I sent you Russia, I thought I was going to stump you. So anyways, go ahead, Brent.
I gave you a -1. This was the most boring thing I've ever listened to in my entire life. If I actually owned this record, I would break it in half and throw it in the trash.
You know, you're insulting Mother Russia.
I don't care.
Mother Russia.
You know, in the Cold War, Mother Russia had to press their records on X-rays because they wouldn't let them listen to pop music. They would only let them listen to what you have there. Because it was bad.
So Brent's score counts as a 1 on the scorebook. Bart.
That's not right.
Okay, so for some reason it reminded me of like, at first like strange dinner music, and then I was just trying to figure out what was going on, and it was like, it felt like you were at a laundromat and you could hear people talking or something, and you would hear them like talking in a weird language, but then it started like to almost sound like I have never wanted to end a song faster than that song.
Yeah.
So I gave it a 1.
Jonathan.
It was rough 1.
Jesse.
I wrote National Geographic and something else, and then I gave
It's something else.
it a -2.
Okay, that counted as a 2 on the scorecard because I didn't see the negative. James, so you boosted his score. James, what'd you think?
So I was a little bit confused because what's the name of the song?
Vulva?
Drake went according. Sorry.
And it was by the Vulva Orchestra?
Well, yeah.
The Vulva
So
Orchestra.
when he originally said it, I thought he said Drake, and I think he did say Drake.
You know,
but
I
was thinking
heard
of the
that
rapper.
too.
Well, it does
Yeah,
say
because he's
Drake.
from Russia.
Yeah,
He's
so
a
at
Russian
first I was
Canadian.
like, wait, I was kind of a little bit excited. I didn't know if this was like the Russian Drake stuff that I've heard about on the internet. And then I was like, wait, this isn't a Drake.
Before he blew up.
Yeah. You actually heard it?
Well, then I was like, oh wait, this isn't a Drake track.
So,
And then this is actually crap.
so were you
So-
disappointed?
I was extremely disappointed, and so what I wrote that I liked was Life Before It and then After, and I gave it a 1. And Drake, you should sue for this crap.
So the Vulva.
What you guys missed was that when they were actually fighting about it, and afterwards they gave each other a hug.
James actually got hurt.
He did.
We're gonna put that in the video.
Good job.
There's a black and blue
Yeah, I
mark
gotta
you
add
punched
that
me.
Robert, you ended up surprisingly with a 1.6.
So did I beat him for the lowest score ever?
Yeah, the lowest score's a 1.
You know, I think James got a perfect 1 time.
But I only have 1.6 because you like.
Because of that mistake, but I still gave you a sympathy too.
Oh, that's right. That's
So
right.
you got it. So yeah, no, Jesse couldn't, so he cheated. Okay, that takes us over to Brent. His country was Brazil.
Okay, so first off, when my wife met these guys on Bret's birthday, she thought
A couple
she'd
of years
be-
ago.
A couple of years ago, she thought she'd be real smart and be like, because she knows everyone here really likes music and we talk about it all the time. So she goes, "Oh yeah, I only listen to music from Brazil." And she's like, "Only music from Brazil." So we try to figure out what's from Brazil, and I get in the car with the radio on, and it's not Brazilian music at all. It's pop. Anyway, so I dug deep into her collection of Brazilian music.
She has a whole room. Of
She
it.
has a closet. And I came across Milton Nascimento. I just played the first track off of side 1. This is actually pretty cool because the jacket is a fold-out
I
poster.
didn't see that.
And this is actually a Brazilian pressing.
Never seen that before.
She went. I think Desiree went to Brazil to get this.
She probably did. She
In her
probably
closet.
chartered- I assume she chartered a flight.
I think so. She was pretty intense about getting it.
Did she even want you to bring
You-
this, or did you sneak it out?
I had to sneak it out, but
Does
now
she know that boy?
You know, now she only listens to K-pop.
Well,
She
moving
switched
all around.
over, so she doesn't really listen to this anymore.
Does she know that guy?
I think she does, probably.
I think
Personal
that
copy.
she got.
Straight from the artist.
I think she got her arm tattooed by him or signed by him. So yeah.
So Milton Nascimento, festive, multi-layered, neat. I give it a 3.
Well, I definitely am a fan of Brazilian, Cuban music, and I liked it. I just thought it was too short.
So what'd you give it?
I gave it a 2.
Well, let me play one song.
No, I mean that song. I thought it should have been longer.
A little more fleshed out, as they say.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what'd you think?
I dug it a lot. Great percussion on it, really cool. Like even like psych influence on there a little bit. And I gave it a 3.
Wow, nice.
Jesse,
I give it a 2.
why?
He didn't understand.
I thought it was good, but
It left you hanging.
yeah.
JT, what'd you think of Milton?
J Money.
I actually felt like it was the energetic sibling to Jonathan's track.
Nice words.
It kind of also made me want to be a
Poetic.
moped rider and poetic and
Moved to Brazil.
move to Brazil. I do like Brazilian things, mostly nuts. I don't know. Brazilian nuts. There's a really good band called Bande Roll, or I don't know how to pronounce it. They're Brazilian. It's pretty good. Which is actually a band that I asked
Cat running through.
Cat Crossing.
Brent's wife about, but she kind of scratched her head and looked at me funny.
Yeah, that was just amateur. You were in like the.
She listens.
You
to
were
the
in Brazilian
intense.
101 conversation with her. She's like 790 upper division doctorate class.
I was trying to make her feel included.
Robert, what'd you think of
I give it a
Milton?
3.
You know, his monologue right there was kind of like Bart's description of the Pizzicato song. It was like, started off really good.
Story of my life.
Right. Great groove. It got me high. So give it a
Whoa.
3.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So, Brent, your record got a score of a 2.67.
Wow.
All right.
It's not
Nice
a 3,
work.
though.
Great job. That takes us to
Failed.
James Todd. James, you had the country of Jamaica. I have to tell you that James responded, wasn't happy with this theme idea. I'll just bring Bob Marley. That was his response.
Oh,
Yeah, I wasn't happy with the
Bobby.
theme
Yeah, he was all hostile towards me, and
Bobby.
he showed the text around because in the text I told him you need to chill.
Bobby.
All right, what'd you bring?
I brought Bob Marley. Wait, what is this? Oh, Jimmy Cliff. And I played Give the People What They Want because basically these are my people and this is what they wanted.
Ooh, that's sharp. That's a
Robert, what'd you think of Jimmy Cliff?
I gave it a 3. Come
Yeah.
on, Mon.
I thought it created a really good vibe in the room. I actually gave it a 3 also.
That's right.
Brent.
You know, I like to look for things that are different. And Jimmy Cliff, Bob Marley, and Peter Tosh are white boy reggae to me.
Meaning the white.
That means every white guy in the world probably, if they have a little tiny reggae, they have those three artists.
Why do you have to be so racist?
Not at all. The players on there are very good, and it's not a bad album. So I give it a 2.
All right.
I felt like kind of like sort of
Bong Waters.
Well, the song, there's an interesting snare drum sound.
Yeah, describe this.
What happens is with the recording, you can hear there's like a bong with water sitting on a snare drum, and when they hit it, it was like every few measures you could hear the water moving in the bong. And so I gave it a 1.
But
It really attracted you?
It's an acoustic reverb effect.
Yeah, well,
I think it was almost hurting his ears.
I honestly felt like it didn't make me happy, this song. I'm serious. I'm
So
being honest.
I was completely in my own thinking that there was a good vibe in the room, but apparently
it
turned dark for some
I
people.
was feeling negative.
But look, you said it did have a slick fade out.
It did.
Slick fade out.
So the slick fade out.
Well,
because you really did give this a 1.5.
Did the fade out go in and out, or
No,
what?
I'm going to explain. When was this recorded?
James, he doesn't.
Because
I just got the album this
I
week
always find
through my cousin's recommendation.
Okay.
Who was out here from
when was it recorded?
Philadelphia.
What year?
1981.
So I always find it interesting when you got a bunch of people stoned in the studio and they can perform a slick fade out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. that's
Whether
what I
they
thought.
did it or they had an engineer do it, I'm just saying I thought it was slick.
It's like, yeah. All right, Jonathan, what'd you think of Jimmy Cliff?
Oh man, I dug it. It was cool, and some of us, I'm not gonna name names, were able to reminisce on our Fear and Loathing days.
Yeah.
You know, so it was cool. And there are also some, as Brent was saying, there's some great players on this, like Sly and Robbie and Augustus Pablo. It's like a who's who of reggae. So I dug a lot. I gave it a 3.
I should also mention that during this song, James got hurt again. Jesse,
A lot of injuries.
It was good, but I don't do reggae.
what do you mean you don't do it? You don't listen to it?
He's a snob. He's a
Why
music
not?
snob.
It's not dreamy.
Yeah, but we had to
It's not
choose.
dreamy.
Okay.
That-
See, this goes back to the point of why I did not like this theme. I had to choose Jamaica because my name is James.
yeah.
At least
Well,
you didn't get Jordan.
the good thing about doing a theme like this, and I think you guys will agree, although it might not be the record that you maybe would initially have chose, is it made you dig deep and pick something you normally wouldn't have brought. And that's the beauty of the music club, because it made James bring Jimmy Cliff. And since Jesse doesn't do reggae, he had to sit there and listen to some reggae with an open mind.
I liked it. but
Okay, so what'd you
like
give
I
it?
said,
That's why I
I
got
give it
hurt.
a 2.
All right.
I'm not.
Robert, Jimmy Cliff.
I already
He got it.
Sorry, okay. My apologies, senor. Okay, so James, you got a 2.33.
Ah, sweet.
And that takes, I think that's me, right? So I had the country of Belgium. Now, most of our names start in either B or J's, so we had a really small bag of countries to choose from. I went with Lords of Acid, and I chose their 12-inch single, the song I Sit on Acid. Brent.
Well, we first played the basic version, so that's what I wrote down, because there wasn't any of the vocals really, except for at the beginning. So it kind of made me want to move to Belgium and get a prostitute.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean that. And then while that was happening, there was some aggressive back massaging going on. And that was just that was just good fun. So I gave it a
James got
2.
hurt again.
I did get hurt. Bart.
James got hurt again.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was quite confusing because the first one I thought was just like a remix, but then it was second, and then it just, I don't know, I didn't care for it. It was a 1. It reminded me of goth clubs, kind of, but just too much.
All right, Jonathan.
Yeah, this song was a bit nostalgic for me because when I was in high school,
You said a lot of acid.
yeah, that too, but a lot of my friends listen to Lords of Acid. I recall, bring back memories to hang out with them.
What are those pants you used to wear?
And golf clubs. What?
What are those pants with the chains, the black?
Oh yeah, that's when I used to wear Jinkos. I used to listen to Lords of Acid and wear
New metal,
Jinkos.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Oh, I should show you those.
Yeah,
pants
he
that
loved
I
that
found.
stuff.
Because of the nostalgia factor.
And what was your score, Doc?
Did you
Too?
wear Jinkos?
Jesse, Lords of Acid, your favorite private comment.
I wrote Shane.
Yeah, I did.
That's
And
it.
you gave it
No.
what?
I gave it a 3.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It was fun.
It was fun.
But I wrote Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, JT.
Shane was in the room.
I too gave it a 3, and this reminded me of being 13 and riding my bike.
Do you go to
Harley?
go to Anderson's Fifth Estate when you were 13? Listen?
Well, no, but I lived in Connecticut when I was 13.
This
Okay.
came out when you were 13.
Canders. It's good to say.
I think it came out, I was about 13, 14, I think.
Robert, what'd you think of Lords of Acid?
So I don't really do techno or whatever this is. I gave it a 2, but there's one part in there that reminded me of the Tones on Tail song "Go."
Go, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
It's 90.
Like a
I gotcha. I can
xylophone or something. Or,
I can feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so that kept it at a 2 for me, just because I enjoyed that.
All right. So my record ended up with a 2.12. So let's hear the scores. Clocking in 6th place, Robert, you had 1.6 with Mother Russia. Then we went to my record with actually Jesse with a 2.0 for what was your record again? Pizzicato 5, obviously. Then my record was a 2.12. Thank you. Going over to Jamaica with Jaymz Todd, 2.33. Brent with a 2.67 over in Brazil, and Jonathan, of course, with the perfect 3
Church.
with Senegal.
For he's a jolly good fat.
I pledge allegiance. Okay.
Can we do the Texas Pledge of Allegiance now?
So let's go on to our full album theme for this month's episode. And that was just, since we just concluded 2014, pick a record that was released in 2014, bring it. Didn't have to be a new album, it could have been a reissue, whatever. There's no specifications. 2014. So let's kick it off with Jonathan.
John Freedom.
Yeah, so respect. Anyway, I brought this album came out later, like almost to the end of the year. It's by Ariel Pink, the Pom Pom. This dude's album is Mind, and I like it. The album's all over the place, but it's brilliant and tons of fun.
All right, I'll start things off on this one. So it was like Frank Zappa mixed with Billy Craone. Track 3 was a goth ice-capade wonderland. And the track Not Enough Violence was killer. I gave this one a 3. This was just all over the place. It was a party album. It was a great vibe. It was fun.
So I saw this guy play a few years ago in Tucson, and he's pretty crazy. And this album pretty much encompasses everything that he is. He co-wrote songs with Kim Fowley, who's also crazy. So the album's weird. You get some of his vibe in it from his previous albums, and I gave it a 3.
Bart.
Okay, so fellas, I'm sorry. I had no idea what this was when you were playing. I didn't know. I had to ask a few times. Ariel Pink. I didn't know it was spelled that way. And I started looking inside of it, and I was intrigued with the artwork because I like Daniel Johnson. I like kind of weird comic stuff that has like big heads on little bodies, naked women, all sorts of weird stuff. And this has great little illustrations in here. And then I started reading the lyrics, and I mean, who wouldn't like this song? Nude Beach a Go-Go. You can do anything at Nude Beach a Go-Go. So I mean,
That's just about the guy playing something wrong.
that says, and then there's another one, Negative Ed. And the font was like handwritten, it's like Megadeth or Metallica. It's like God Christ they're trying to get rid of. But negative TIV instead of negative Ed. Don't play my bass line wrong, dickhead. Negative Ed. He's a naysayer of his nag. Negative Ed lives in my brain out of his head. So I mean, look at lyrics like that. You just cannot go wrong.
Man. He sounds mine.
So what'd you give it?
So I gave that shit a 2.
Okay, Jonathan. I'm sorry, Jesse. All that for
Just build it up. That's great.
I really liked it.
Kick these up.
I gave it a 3. I saw
All of that
Ariel
for a
Pink,
2.
Hey,
I'm gonna give his discourse a 3. Okay, Jesse.
I really enjoyed it. I saw Ariel Pink
what?
a few years ago,
Not
and it
before
was
Brent.
same thing like Brent. He was really crazy, and he had his own audience, like
Canned
on
laughter.
a clap track. Yeah,
That's funny.
it
All
was
right,
great. I give it a 3.
JT.
I give it a 2. It's whatever.
Whoa.
That's
Whoa.
You just killed the vibe.
I know I did, and I'm
Did you
sorry,
read the
but
lyrics?
Did you hear the lyrics?
Wait, you guys, you gave him the same score.
I know, but my thing was
He's arguing.
okay. My only
You guys
thing
are
is
fighting and you agree.
I can't give it a 3 until I sit there and listen and analyze everything together. In my opinion, you know what I mean?
No, I think that's a
Yeah.
fair way.
So the
Everyone
reason I
judges
gave it a
differently.
2, but
I'm giving it a 2 basically because I have some of his back catalog.
Oh, okay. Well, see,
And
you didn't
then-
say that. I
so
thought you
I-
were just saying
I'm-
he's an ass. You know. or
No, I
something.
didn't say anything. I don't
Okay.
care. Jonathan and I were having
But
a
you're
conversation
comparing it against the
earlier.
past work instead of
Well,
just judging it for that
No, I know.
experience.
Hold on, I'm explaining myself.
Okay,
right
let's
now.
hear it. It better be good.
So, Jonathan and
Or
I
I'm
were
editing
having
that all out.
We were both talking earlier, and I was talking about because he's had a little bit of troubles right now in the media or whatever because of things he said. But I was telling Jonathan that you gotta separate the man from the art anyway. So, to just basically erase that stuff. For me, there are some stuff that I think are okay on this album, but I don't find it as much as when I first got into some of his previous albums, and so I don't. Plus, I'm past that point where I don't really care about Ariel Pink anymore. So,
Okay.
does that make sense?
I just my 2 cents on that one are like it's why it's almost in a way if you're unfamiliar with that particular album, it's almost good to not even announce who it is, just so no one goes into listening it with any preconceived notions.
Well, I've already heard this album too.
But you would have heard the one track of that new album. That was Ariel Pink, the new album.
Yes,
Okay. You're being honest.
I am being honest.
Okay. So Robert.
The first song, I had this sort of WTF reaction. I just did not know what this was coming at me.
That's
It-
how I was too. Like I didn't.
Yeah,
know
so I
what it was.
initially circled a 2, and this is just so chaotic and strange. It's kind of weird. I sort of like the weirdness, but it's too much. But then as we went through, it just grew and grew and grew on me till by the end, this is one of the best things I've heard this year. So ultimately, got a 3.
Yeah, it was a treat. I was really happy you brought this, Jonathan. 2.67. Nice work.
Oh, and I want to say song 3. It sounds like the Pet Shop Boys doing Black Sabbath.
Oh,
Which is
interesting.
Was that the one you thought was a cover, or was that something else?
No, that was a different
That
album.
was Brent.
Yeah.
So that takes us now to Dream Pop Jesse. What'd you bring?
I brought V Forest.
It's a signed copy.
Yeah, it's not copy.
All right. So I really liked the vocalist on this one. It reminded me of Harriet Wheeler from the Sundays.
Oh yeah, it does.
I thought it was pleasant. I gave it a 2.
But I agree, it was pleasant. It was very typical of what Jesse usually brings, so I also give it a 2. Typical.
Bart.
I feel like right now I didn't study for the test because I really don't think I'm on the same page. I'm gonna ask the Mother's Temple.
You didn't fill one out for this one.
Okay. What is it?
You gave it a 2.
Okay, I gave it a 2.
All right, Jonathan.
It was nice and chill, like iced tea. I gave it a 2. Yeah.
Like iced tea.
Like iced
Okay.
tea,
All
yeah.
right, JT, what'd you
The
think?
rapper?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I wrote,
Either one.
I think with a wrong hand, beautiful cure Mogwai Stone Rose's female mood vibe, or love, or bug, or bove. I don't know what I said there. Maybe it's love. It also kind of reminded me a little bit of Sobi Sexu, which is one of Jesse's favorite bands.
Wheelhouse.
Yeah.
female vocals. I gave it a 3 because this is stuff that I also enjoy as well.
Robert, what'd you think?
I gave it a 3, and mainly the beginning was so hypnotic. It just carried me through the whole thing. I loved it.
Right on, Jesse. You ended up scoring a 2. You got 2 in both rounds. Oh, you're really
Consistent.
You're really 2ing it up tonight. Right,
consistent.
That takes us over to Robert. What was your 2014 album?
I brought my favorite Faded Fantasy by Damien Rice. This was a Christmas gift and a real treat. I wasn't too familiar with his work before this.
I really like the artwork on the label too that they carried over from that. It's like a sketch almost. It's really cool. When it started, I did not know that was a male voice singing. It was like a falsetto Bjork on the first track. There were some cool strings on the second track, and they had this nice long instrumental piano outro. I really liked it. I gave it a 3.
I've not heard this before, and when I started listening to it, I was definitely not a fan. There's nothing I really liked about it, so I give it a 1. Sorry.
No, okay, so I know the name Damien Rice, and I didn't know any. I've never heard any songs. It really it sounded like at first Sunny Day Real Estate after a while his vocal, Jeremy Igneg, or how you pronounce his name, and then I liked the piano and the strings, and so I would like to hear more of it, but I gave it a 2.
Jonathan.
Yeah, it had really nice instrumentation on it. The only criticism I have is it felt a bit too like emotional and melodramatic for me.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what kind of turned me off. I love the instrumentation. Had a lot of swirling violins and
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What you thought it was too emotional?
Or it was too melodramatic.
So it was too overly emotional in a way that seemed.
He gets a little embarrassed by feelings.
No,
Do you like Anthony? Do you like Anthony and the Johnsons?
I do, but it's just I'm in I hate to say this, but I'm in that I'm in get to a point where I become kind of emotional, and I don't really like to listen to music quite like that,
Okay.
Like it affects you?
Yeah, it affects me in that kind of way, in a negative way.
Great feedback.
Yeah.
That's good. I was just curious.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I apologize for my joke.
So what was your score then?
I give it a 2.
Okay. Jesse, what did you think of Damien Rice?
I like it a lot. I give it a 3. This is actually one that I still need to buy.
Oh, so you're a fan of Damien Rice? You have some of his stuff?
Yeah.
JT.
I really like this album. I have this album. I have some of his other albums too. And we were discussing which was an album that came out in 2003. That's super amazing.
This was after the fight. They started fighting and
James got hurt once again.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't get hurt. And
I've seen that album cover before. I know.
Yeah, always amazing.
Yeah.
There's male, female vocals. This one is lacking the female vocals. He was saying that maybe they broke up or something. But yeah, no, I like it. And then, it does move you. So.
What was your score?
3.
All right, Robert, you ended up with a 2.3 for Damien Rice. Good score. That takes us now to Brent. What was your 2014 record?
Acid Mother's Temple, Astrogasm from the Inner Space.
You want to start this one, Bar?
Yeah, sure. Well, first off, I look at the complete artwork and everything when if we're basing this solely on music, but I really enjoyed the artwork on this album. Some cool tips. Just, I thought that it had a cool mood, and it was it just was cool. So I give it a 2.
There's rainbows.
All right, Jonathan, what'd you think?
The only thing, the lyrics weren't in there, and I wish they were.
Was there any?
I didn't see
lyrics. Okay, there's a lot of heavy instrumental, but there was some female vocals. Right?
Yeah, the song.
It was 2 words.
The song had a really great build up. And it kind of builds up to a point, just kind of then the guitars and all the other instruments kind of go crazy, and everything falls apart, really symbolic and whatnot. But I wrote down here is it was nice to take a trip down the wormhole. It's a great journey.
Donnie Darko there.
Did you think this was too melodramatic? No, I'm just
That put me in a
saying.
good, it put me in a good spot. Man.
Okay.
I'll
Je-
enjoy it. I give it a 3.
All right, Jesse, what was your score on this one?
It started out good and then turned into noise, but was still good.
What would you?
I give it a 2.
Okay, JT.
I gave it a 3. I kind
Whoa.
of feel like I would have given it more of a 2 though, but I gave it a 3. I thought this is what I wrote. I wrote hipster smoking doobie in a dumpster, but that dumpster is really their car with the windows down on a freeway traffic jam, chilling, Taco Bell smelling, trailblazing stink breath.
And you gave it a 3.
So I gave it a 3.
Oh,
That's odd.
that sounded like
it
the
was,
name of
it
an
was like
infectious
noisy,
grooves
but it
album.
went on a little too long.
It's Fiona Apple album.
Robert.
So there's a certain part of my wheelhouse, I guess you would say, that this hits exactly. I mean, the whole idea of the psychedelic drone, kind of noisy, putting you into just a different state of mind. That whole Spaceman 3 vibe, and there were aspects of this that were in some ways better than Spaceman 3. So I loved it. 3+ exclamation marks.
To me, it was a cross between Jimi Hendrix, Electric Miles Davis, and Outer Space. It got a little bit tedious to me towards the end, so I gave it a 2. Brent, Acid Mother's Temple, scored a 2.5. Very good score. All right, that takes us over to Jaymz. Todd, for your 2014 record.
I brought Ava Luna Electric Balloon. It's my number 4 pick of 2014.
Robert.
This is easily my favorite record of the evening,
Really?
and
Wow.
Best friends.
song number 3. I think it was song number 3.
Crown.
It's my favorite song of 2014 as of this evening.
Wow.
Whoa.
The
Romance.
guitars, the
Blossoming.
psycho funk, the droning keyboards. I love the arrangements. The weird thing is that the vocals were really varied on this album, almost to the point where I thought there were different singers. On the, I think it was the second song. Actually, I didn't like the singing all that much, but on the other songs, I thought it was absolutely great. So whoever sang the majority of it, I love. There's someone in there that's kind of a bad apple, but the rest
Interesting.
of it was great.
When James first put it on, I thought it was the Strokes. He said I was crazy. Track 2 reminded me of like Bowie's Fame, and then to me it was just directionless. It just kept changing styles and everything that I felt like just the record was really disjointed. I thought the female vocals in it were really amateur. The
Can I ask a
female
question,
backing
though?
vocals, yeah.
But one of the things that you guys liked about this album
Well, it was cohesive, but it was cohesive.
too. If you listen to this, and you listen to this, you will see that this is much better than this.
It's different though.
It's two different
types of
styles.
It's
There's
all
the
opinionated.
cohesion and the sound quality of that one, and the soundscapes all blend together. Where that just stylistically changed in a way. That one, you kind of expected it to because of the carnival-esque vibe of it, but that one was more of a straight kind of like alt funk kind of sounding band. So when it changed, it was just like as if the band doesn't have a set goal in mind, or they haven't quite figured out what direction they're moving in. And that's why I say that's directionless in a way. And also like the female backing vocals on that one to me just sounded like really amateurish. Like it sounded like a local band that just hasn't really found their sound yet.
Well,
So that's why I say that. It just seems like they haven't found their sound yet. So that's why to me it lacked cohesion.
I agree with Brett. I thought it was real choppy, like from one song to another. And there was even one song where it was the same song, but it sounded like two different songs, and it didn't really make sense to me.
Bart,
I hate to say this, but I think I was taking a shit in the bathroom. So I don't
It's
even
like
know.
the adult edition of
I really don't remember.
it's like the fairly man.
No, I'm serious. I really think I was, so I don't know. But what I was gonna say is, if I didn't know any of you guys, it just was weird because tonight seemed like this psychedelic night. Like seriously, I don't know. Robert,
It got pretty trippy too.
I mean, I was like thinking, man, and
Conversation.
even the conversation, I was thinking, if I was like just
James kept getting hurt.
if I just came into this atmosphere, I
It
would
was
think,
gonna be another
man,
fight.
these guys are, so, you know what I mean? It just had an interesting, like totally
Here's
not
the
what
So
I
do you remember
expected.
that record at all?
No, I don't. I brought it. No,
He was pooping.
It was a whole side we listened to.
I
That was
don't
long.
remember it.
Sometimes you gotta get on your cell phone when you're in the bathroom.
Yeah,
All right, so I think you just gave it a
6. I don't know. No, I don't know.
I have a score written down for you, but I don't know
What
which
is
number it was. I don't know. There's a lot of ones.
Isn't that the one where you wrote the score?
Sounds like
in
a
for him?
stinky one.
I think you gave it a 2. Sympathetic. All right, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'll agree with all of the criticism about this band, but I will ride for that song "Crowd Robert" here.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You're right.
Crown is a
Jonathan,
good
ri-
song.
Jonathan rides in gangs for
Yeah,
different
man.
people.
I'll ride for Crown.
Are Robert and James
If they go in that
best
same
Yeah.
direction, and they make if this band makes an album that it has the same energy
Romance.
and the
That's
same
creepy.
qualities of the song "Crown" and just like expand on that, they'll be great and they'll be a big, huge band and they'll tour and do everything.
I don't see that, but
Yeah, but I see that. But that song "Crown" is a definite like radio song. You know, I could
I'm
definitely
gonna have
see
to
that on radio
revisit it.
commercials.
Is that
So-
album really better than this one? Do you think?
Oh yeah, 20 times. 20
Because I really enjoyed this one. I was
Yeah.
sorry I didn't hear it, but no, I enjoyed this.
So I give it a 2.
Okay,
Yeah,
Jesse.
that's on the wrong.
I gave it a 2.
That's not like sympathy. Read it. What is it?
Yeah, what does it
You
say?
said about the same thing.
That was Jesse. That wasn't a read. You gotta be.
It says.
It wasn't a 2.
It's a 2. Gravity in the fucking
That was a sympathy.
That's a sympathy
That should
too.
be
That it
That's-
James
You
scored.
gotta be straight up.
That it wasn't bad. I like the production of the recording.
What?
So that gives you a
About
2.
it. It was
Okay.
pretty, like, as you
Take
said,
Jesse's
it was
scars off.
disjointed, it was directionless, but
So
It's
you
good.
think okay? So James, you ended up with a 1.67. Okay, you're saving grace from being down in the below
See,
1.5.
they're best friends over there.
Was your BFF for there, Robert? So we're gonna end the discussion with my 2014 record, and this is Angel Olsen's "Burn Your Fire for No Witness." Brent.
This is the first time I've heard of her and listened to that record. I thought it was very pretty, very relaxing. I enjoyed it a lot. I gave it a 3.
Thank you, Bart.
Well, this was my first time ever listening to this recording. I thought it was very pretty, very relaxing, and I gave it a 2.
I felt that her voice was great. It has her voice has a lot of gravitas to it, and a lot of beautiful melodies. And I actually heard this sound when it first came out, and I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why haven't been listening to it all year. It's excellent. I gave it a 3.
Well, what kind of wine or alcoholic beverage or non-alcoholic
Oh
beverage
man,
would you
this would be like a great 100-year-old aged whiskey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name, that guy?
Rob Clark. Scott.
Yeah.
Jesse.
I give it a 3. This is probably my favorite one of the night.
You enjoyed it, huh?
Yeah, I really liked it.
JT.
Besides my record, which was good, by the way.
Everyone seems have their feelings hurt tonight a little bit.
I gave it a 3. I want to say though that it's a good album, but it's nothing that you haven't heard before. And I feel like
He's angry
she's actually
tonight.
getting a lot of attention currently right now in the
Really?
press and everything. But
Because she put out a good record.
no, I'm saying that it's a good album, but it's not. I don't think it's necessarily completely deserved. No offense to her. If
Well,
she's
just for sake of discourse here, when you said because it's not
Well, I feel
groundbreaking,
like
were you
it's-
saying something else was more deserving of the attention that was more groundbreaking?
Ava Luna was no.
Was that
But-
Jesse's record?
No, that was my record. But I mean, I
His
feel like
disjointed record.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
Forgot already.
it was alright.
Okay.
But I still gave it a 3.
Yeah, it's a good record.
No, I'm saying it's a good record.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying is that
Your eyes are.
I
Yeah,
don't
bro.
feel
You
like
guys are fighting about the same thing.
I'm just saying it's a good
Doesn't make
record.
any
I just feel
sense.
like
I'm just
it's
saying,
just
hey, it's a
like-
good record. Like, hey.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
we
I gave
listen
it a
to
3.
a good record.
I was just saying that it's there's a lot of stuff out there that's already
Do you
out
think
there.
you would have probably gave it a lower score if you knew the negativity people said about you?
I wish I had given it a lower score, but
Robert,
There'll be retaliation.
there's no retaliation. I hope there's no
Next time,
retaliation.
I'm sure you will have retaliation.
I like to think we're all
It's
giving
either-
them judging on the music legitimately with
That
no
doesn't
preconceived
happen.
notions.
He's either going to
That's-
get retaliation
that's the
scores
utopia.
or he's going to forget about it.
Yeah, and next week he'll come in and be like, yeah, it's a good one, I got 3.
it's just kind of a combo of the two.
Robert,
That
Angel
really
Olsen.
happens.
I gave it a 3, but I also
Uh-oh.
almost feel like
Bromance.
dropping it a little bit because
because of the Ava Luna thing.
Well,
Gotcha.
And their buddies now.
And the Damien Rice comment from Brent.
okay,
Retaliation
this
score.
Angel Olsen.
He's better at words than I am, so I'm gonna let him speak.
So it is a solid album, and honestly, it is deserving of a 3. But it's not groundbreaking. I felt like Ava Luna is a groundbreaking
Oh,
record.
look at that! He's
So-
even throwing in that.
So here's the thing:
I
Angel
didn't pass him
Olsen.
no money.
Stop hiding behind him.
Angel Olsen is a solid quality album, but it does play it safe. I do believe.
Exactly.
Now, here's what I will say. I want to justify the 3 because it does deserve it. It's heavy music in the best sense. Okay, so it's heavy in. It has a groundedness and actually a bassiness to it that makes it sonically heavy, but also in terms of there's a gravity to it. There's a weight to it emotionally. So her heart is in the music, and that deserves a 3. The melodies are there. The songwriting is there. And as a bonus, there's one song where the music of it sounds a lot like Spirit in the Sky, and so I just love that. But in terms of the playing safe, there's maybe a little bit too much of the Cat Power, Mazzy Star sort of tradition in her music.
Well said. I mean, you
Yeah, I mean that's all great feedback. I enjoy the discourse.
And you weren't making out of you.
No, I mean I don't want to get back to the Ava Luna being groundbreaking in this one.
Do you
Strokes,
feel it's
David Bowie
groundbreaking?
fame. No, I mean I don't. I think that it. I think that in being disjointed, I also think that it was derivative of in a lot of ways. Like for instance, immediately thinking the Strokes and stuff. And I'm not saying the Angel Olsen is groundbreaking. I'm not saying it. I'm saying it. I mean, there's very few things that I hear that are groundbreaking anymore because I mean, it's just.
Well, and my comments are more about the fact, not of necessarily you playing it, but of the fact that she's getting a lot of. It's been on.
See,
a lot of top 10
that's
lists
the
and
thing
stuff.
is I think
So it's
that
like, I
we're
feel
judging
like-
it on the music that we're
No,
listening
I
to,
know.
not what's surrounding it.
Yeah, no, I'm still. I listen to what you were playing, and yeah, I mean, I don't feel like what it is anything that deserves some of that.
Do you realize that right now we are on the verge of physical violence?
James got hurt Final 4 times.
In the
tonight.
beginning, they were talking about how I was going to get injured. I did get injured
Why
a
do we
few
have to take all our
times,
weapons at the door?
and it could happen again.
Okay, so the Angel Olsen ended up with a 2.83. So to run down the scores for the 2014 release.
Two, though. Oh, you did.
In last place on the 2014 was Via Luna with 1.67, James Todd.
Ava Luna.
Okay, sorry. Jesse, you ended up with a 2.0 for Baha Men. Then we had Robert with a 2.3 with Damien Rice. And then we had Brent with a 2.5 with Acid Mother's Temple. Jonathan, 2.67 with your Jimmy Cliff record. And then, your
Ariel Pink.
Ariel Pink. I enjoyed that. And then I ended up in first place on that one with a 2.83 for the Angel Olsen. Thanks, everyone. Good discussion, gentlemen, as always. When the camera stops, we don't always hug. There's usually some punches that get thrown, but it's all for the sake of music. So, guys, thanks for watching Saturday Night Music Club number 17. We'll be back next month. Once again, this is Bret.
Brent from the block.
Cheese bar.
Jonathan, aka Big Money.
Cheese bar.
No, I said G bar.
J Pop from the block. J Dids, because J Do.
Robert from the bar,
And if you guys have any theme suggestions for upcoming episodes of Saturday Night Music Club, or if you have an album that you would like to send us to feature, please get in contact with us here. We'll see you guys next time.
And I'd like to say one thing, that when you when you guys call in, say things.
Alright, we look forward to your phone calls, I guess.
Long time listener.
Peace out.
Some caller.
James, you gonna do a little dance or what?
Do truffle shuffle.
Hey. Oh my god.
That right there would have
That's
broke a
good.
$5,000 camera.
I think you got hurt. You guys,
We just got 1,000 views, you guys.
yeah, we'll put that in the description.